you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back. Got an interview coming up at 9:50, but until then, I want to talk about tomorrow, 20th anniversary, 9/11. You know, it's one of those moments where you know where you were at. I was in the back room at Mellow Mushroom, counting money, getting ready for the day to start, when I was summoned to the front to look at the NBC Today news coverage of a plane that had flown into the World Trade Center. I got up front, and this is what I saw. This is the actual Today Show coverage that I watched 20 years ago today.
300 feet across was visible immediately. A secondary explosion, I think, and then plumes of smoke. There must have been a 3-block cloud of white smoke. Now, from where I was on the street a moment ago, you can in fact see smoke leaving the building on 3 sides. It seems to be coming out on at least 4 or 5 floors. The air is filled with hundreds of thousands of pieces of paper that are just sort of floating like confetti. The area is swarmed with emergency vehicles and sirens. Obviously, we're very sensitive to this kind of thing in this neighborhood.
Elliot, have you, of course, because of the incident that occurred in the early 1990s, have you seen any evidence, Elliot, of people being taken out of the building? You say that emergency vehicles are there, understandably so, but of course the major concern is human loss. I mean, do you know if there were many people in the building?
Another one just hit. Something else just hit. A very large plane just flew directly over my building, and there's been another collision. Can you see it? I can see it on the shot.
Oh my.
Something else has
You know what?
just
We just saw a plane circling the
747.
building. We just saw a plane circling the building a second ago on the shot right before
I think
that.
there may have been another impact. Can you tell? I just heard another very loud bang, and a very large plane that might have been a DC-9 or a 747 just flew past my window, and I think it may have hit the Trade Center again.
To be honest, Elliot, I didn't get the impression that it was that big a plane.
It looks big from here.
I did see a plane go by a second ago, though, and it has now impacted the building. I'm trying to see if it's the different tower.
I think it may have been. I
other
believe the
tower.
first one was World Trade Center 1, and it looks from what I'm seeing on television like it may have
We're
been
going
the
to
second
see.
building.
This is a piece of tape.
That's what I walked into, was the Today Show coverage of the 9/11, the second plane hitting the towers. And I knew immediately then. And Matt Lauer said, it didn't look. She said a DC-9 or 727, 747. Matt Lauer goes, it doesn't look like it was that big of a plane. No, it did. That fireball that exploded from tower number 2, you knew right away we were under attack. Yes, a little difficult, folks. You knew right away we were under attack. Excuse me, I have a moment there. Still makes me very angry and very upset to this day that so many people died senselessly. And it's still very emotional to me, and that's the problem I see in our country, is I don't think it's emotional to enough people anymore. It's one of those things that I was just taken right back to the horror and the shock and the sadness and the anger that I had. That as I was replaying that in my mind, I lost it there for a minute. Susan is in here now. It's one of those things, Susan, and it's still tough.
It is, my love.
Still tough. And at the time, we didn't know what was going on. Had no idea.
No idea. Not a one.
We had heard that there was a report that there was a plane that flew into the World Trade Center. You knew people would take and fly little small planes around New York trying to be impressive, so I thought that's what it was. As I was standing in the lobby, standing in front of the bar area at Mellow Mushroom in Gainesville, looking at the TVs, it was apparent immediately this was no longer an accidental plane crash into the World Trade Center. Where were you at that morning?
I worked at a marshmallow factory at that time in Elk Grove, Illinois. So I was literally like on the other side of O'Hare Airport.
So literally right near the airport.
Literally right near the airport. Like if you looked across, well, it's not quite across, but
Not as close as we are to the airport.
not as close. It was literally across the next main street was the airport. And why I'm highlighting that is that you have a lot of the airport or the plane noise, and you kind of get used to it. But when all the planes were grounded the next couple of days,
Quiet.
like it was eerie. I mean, O'Hare Airport was shut down. And at that time, it's not anymore, but at that time, it was the busiest airport in the United States.
Right, it was. Atlanta was the second, but at that time O'Hare was still the busiest airport in the world.
And it was very, very eerie.
It had to be eerie, not being able to use a sound. It's kind of like where we live. Where we live, I know that 12, 15 times a day, trains are going to go by.
Right.
I don't even hear them anymore because I know they go by. But I would miss them if they didn't go by. I would know they weren't going by if they weren't there. Because it's part of the background noise.
Right.
And so for O'Hare to be shut down, 5 days air flight was shut down. There were people stranded. I read a story about a man and a woman who ended up getting married. They met on a flight. They got grounded in Newfoundland coming from London to Houston. And they met on that flight. And they have every anniversary of 9/11, they have remorse guilt because they found love during this tragedy. So they have like survivor's guilt over it. One of my good friends, Dusty DiStefano, who died tragically of brain cancer after 9/11, about 4 or 5 years after 9/11, he was supposed to be in the World Trade Center that day. He had bought a new BMW, and literally it had been left on blocks by somebody stealing the tires. So he didn't go to work that day.
Yeah.
That's the difference between him living and him dying. It was one of those situations that should drive anger then, should make you angry now, should make you upset, it should make you sad. And it's not against any kind of religion or anything. It's against 19 nutbags who were extremists who decided to kill people under the guise of their convoluted idea of their religion.
Right.
It's one of those times where everybody knows where they were. Everybody.
Everybody.
No, it is to my generation what the Kennedy assassination was to my parents' generation.
Right.
And I thought we already had one of those because I remember exactly where I was January 28, 1986. When the space shuttle exploded. I know exactly where I was. So I thought that was going to be my generation's moment. Little did I know, 15 years later, we would really have the generation's tragic moment that is now 20 years tomorrow since it happened. We'll take a break. We'll come back right here. Got an interview coming up. Going to talk about a book. A lady's got a book she wants to talk about. We'll talk to her next. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
You're getting